welcome to another episode of my podcast. My name is Cheryl, and this is Cappuccino Crafts, my little channel on YouTube and my corner of the general interwebs where I like to talk about knitting and sometimes crochet and books and TV and movies and other life and general chatty things that I want to share with you. Thank you very much for choosing to watch this video and spend a little bit of your time with me. I really hope that you enjoy it. So please settle in, get yourself a delicious beverage, and let's have a really lovely visit. All right, my delicious beverage today is a decaf iced latte with just a little bit of almond syrup, and it's really good. I went through a drive-through while I was picking up something else, and yeah, I finished one book this week. I finished my digital arc of Yume by Sifton Tracy Anapare, and it's so good. It's so good. It is a little bit long. It's a little bit over 500 pages, and I don't think it actually needed to be that long. I felt it did get just a little repetitive at times. It could have been tightened up, but I never lost interest. And so that wasn't a big problem for me at all. I still found it interesting throughout. And I just love how it's really grounded in traditional folklore and Japanese, mythology. And I love that it gives me some of that spirited away atmosphere. And I thought the themes were so good. It talked about belonging and identity, and it had themes. She was facing a lot of racism and misogyny and xenophobia, and those were very clearly depicted. And I just really, really enjoyed it. The end was a little bit quick and a little abrupt. And as far as the main conflict and the main things were, answered and wrapped up, and some explanation was given about how the dream world, the spirit world, worked a little bit, but it was not overly explained at all. It was just a very very briefly explained, and I like that, because with this folklore and mythology kind of storytelling, too much explanation kind of kills it. That is not the mythology and folklore style at all. To have like every detail explained. So that wasn't a problem for me. It did leave some details just kind of hanging and some things open, and that was fine with me. I don't need a super neatly buttoned up ending. And the important things were concluded. So yeah, I really, really liked it. I'm super glad I read it. and I put my review in. So I submitted the link and I submitted the text of my review to Netgalley, and yeah. And in other exciting news, and also like Netgalley and ARC related news, I got something. I'm recording just a little bit later than I usually do. Since we're well into spring, there's still enough light. I don't feel like I'm fighting too much with the light, but I did wait until, because I read an ARC at the beginning of the year, and I loved that book so much. I knew I wanted a finished copy, a copy I could keep, because your Netgalley digital ARCs do expire. So it's not like you get to keep that file forever. So I pre-ordered Folklore by Angela Mi-Young-Her. I pre-ordered it and it arrived today. And I want to show it to you because the cover is beautiful. It's even prettier in person. Look at that beautiful, beautiful cover. And when I finished this book in January this year, I'm like, this is an amazing book to start the year. It set the bar so high and I loved it so much. This is another book that is very much rooted in folklore and mythology. This time Korea instead of Japan. But it is a beautiful story, and it has so many themes. My review is on StoryGraph and on Goodreads, so you can read a little bit more, but it has so many themes. I mean, I could just make a big long list. But the biggest themes are about immigration and constructing your identity as like a second generation or, recent generation immigrant. And the family situation is very, very complicated. There's a lot of generational trauma, and it explores trauma and mental health and domestic abuse and a lot of those things very, very well. And yeah, and the folklore and the folk stories are just woven so perfectly in. And this also has some, magic in it. So it's set in the real world, but there's like folklore, magical folklore kind of things happening. And it's just beautiful. It's so beautifully written. This is a debut. No, this is not a debut novel. It's her second novel. But the prose is so beautiful, and the imagery and the images aren't just empty images. They also are very metaphorical. It's just such an amazing book. I knew I needed to have my own copy. I knew I would be reading this and coming back for, I'm sure, more than one reread in the upcoming years. So I am thrilled that it came today. It just made this Monday a wonderful Monday, and I wanted to share that with you. Also, I am progressing on my sock legs in just maybe another centimeter or about half an inch or a third of an inch. It will be time to start the heels. So I'm going to have to decide what kind of heel I'm going to put. But I'm probably not going to think too hard about it and do my favorite, which is the heel flap and gusset. But yeah. So in more book news, I guess I just snuck a craft in there in between some books. I'm a little out of order today, but I guess that's okay. That's kind of what the day is, and how my brain is working today. But I am continuing to read Howl's Moving Castle. I am continuing to love it. It is a children's classic, and it's also been adapted by Miyazaki with Studio Ghibli, and that movie for a long time has been a special favorite movie. So yeah, that's going great. And I started a new book. I said last week I wanted to continue in one of the series that I have going. And I started the third book in the Murderbot Diaries. And this novella is called Rogue Protocol. I'm listening to the audiobook this time. The first one I read as an ebook on my phone. The second one I listened to as an audiobook, and I like the narrator. It's a good narrator, so I thought I have text. I've been reading a lot of text-based, either digital ebooks or print books. So I really wanted to do some audio book listening. So I got the audio version from my library and am listening to Rogue Protocol. I'm about a third of the way through, and the total audiobook is only like 4 hours, so it won't take long to wrap that up. And I really enjoy this series. I really enjoy the character of Murderbot. And yeah, it's great. It is about a cyborg security bot that basically was manufactured and belonged to a company that would rent them out as security and bodyguards. And this particular unit has hacked its governing module and has escaped from the company, and is no longer being hired out. It is trying to get to the bottom of something in its past, and also just trying to evade being captured. And basically, since it is now considered rogue because it has hacked its governing module. It would be completely like dismantled and recycled and torn apart if it was ever recovered by the company. So yeah, it's exciting and really fun. We met another AI character that is really funny. And I can't wait to see how that goes in this novel. And yeah, it's really good. So those are all the books. And I am all that I have left to watch of RuPaul season 13 is the finale episode. And I have enjoyed the season a whole lot. There's some very fun and very interesting queens in this season's cast. Yeah, it's been a really good season, and I'm really liking it. I also only have one more episode of The Circle, season 2, that reality show. That's kind of like social media / Big Brother kind of a show where, a contestant gets eliminated every week, but they don't meet face to face. It's all they're all living in the same apartment building, but they only communicate by the in-building social network with private messages and group chats, and they can show pictures on their profile and whatnot. But yeah, it's just silly and fun. Yeah, The Circle is just silly and fun, and you don't have to play as yourself in the social network. You can use your own identity. You can create a different identity. And so, yeah, there's that aspect of some people are catfish and some people are using their own identity. And so people are trying to guess like who's real and who is a catfish and all of that fun stuff. And there's drama and silliness and nonsense and games and all of that stuff. It's just silly fun, fluffy, silly fun. And I just like popcorn. Yeah. Yep. Anyway, so do I have anything else I want to talk about today? Not really. If you're crafting, I hope your projects are going great. And I hope that the books that you're reading, if you're reading, are really interesting and that you're enjoying them. And I would love to chat with you about any of that stuff in the comments below the video. If you're crafting or what you're reading, or movie recommendations, or like RuPaul favorite cast members, or any of that stuff. That'd be fun to chat about in the comments. And in a couple more weeks, it will be my 2-year YouTube anniversary. Yeah, it was the end of May, like I think May 24th, that I posted my very first video in 2019. So we're getting close, and I got a great suggestion in a comment last week from Blue Black, and I think I'm going to use that for the anniversary video. But I also never in the 2 years have I ever done a Q&A video. So since, you know, we're about the 2-year mark, if there are questions that you have that you would like me to answer, or yeah, go ahead and put them in the comments, and you know, I can either do a short segment in another video, or if I get enough questions, I might do a dedicated Q&A video soon. Just depends on how many questions people have. So anyway, take care. I hope that you and all your family and all your loved ones are well and safe, and talk to you another day. Bye-bye.